Howdy, motherfuckers. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to MCubed. I am your host, Harris, and today we are back with another Ticket or Skip It, this time covering the film Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Now, what is a Ticket or Skip It, you may ask? That is where I ask and answer 4 questions before we figure out if you should get a ticket for a movie, if you should skip that movie, or if you should get a ticket, but maybe get it with a little bit of trepidation. Those 4 questions are, was the film itself fulfilling? Question number 2 is, were the characters' arcs within the film fulfilling? Question number 3, did I personally like this film? And question number 4, is it worth you going and watching? Now, getting to question number 1, was this film fulfilling? It's definitely an interesting film. It's not a horror movie. It's not even a slasher movie. It's more of a thriller comedy, and it is a lot of fun, but I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as fulfilling. It's fulfilling-ish, and I'll kind of keep it at that. It doesn't necessarily take the turns you expect it to while also being a predictable film. Now, were the characters' arcs in this film fulfilling? Amanda Stenberg as Sophie. I'm gonna actually say, even though she's one of the 2 main characters of the film, not really. I kind of wish her arc would have ended a little more with the bang, and in a good and a bad way. I wish there was something just a little more there at the end. And that is kind of reminiscent with, I believe it's Maria Bakalova, who played Bee in the film. I've only ever seen her in the newest Dictator film before, and for her to come in here and do this, I think she did do well. I really did like what she brought to the table. Where she might have a little bit more of a fulfilling arc, it does kind of run into similar problems in the fulfillment aspect that Amanda Stenberg's character does. Now, that being said, Rachel Sennot's character, Alice, probably has one of the more fulfilling arcs of the entire film. Her character is a lot of fun to watch every time she comes on. You don't know what's gonna come out of her mouth, which is kind of entertaining, and that kind of makes that ending with her that much more satisfying. So yeah, no, I would say her ending, her character arc in a whole, is one of the most satisfying ones of the film. So was Chase Wonders, who played Emma in the film, was her arc fulfilling? I'm gonna say her arc was probably the least fulfilling of the entire film. She has a lot of good things tossed her way, acting-wise, and she does well with them. There's a lot of different blames tossed on her. There's different things tossed on her, and she tackles all of these things really well. But at the end of the day, I will be honest, her arc is about as fulfilling as falling down a staircase. It's really not what I expected, and I would have liked to see just maybe a little bit more, maybe a whole lot, but a little bit more at least from that character. I think there was some interesting things that could have been delved into there. So pardon me if I butcher this name, but Myha'la Harold, I believe, is how you say her name. She played the character of Jordan. And Jordan actually has one of the most fulfilling arcs in the entire film. Her character is kind of a bit of a badass without like outwardly 100% of the time representing herself as one. She's very headstrong, and it's a joy to watch her every time she's on screen. I think she does excellent with the material that she was given. Yeah, I'd go with her arc is fulfilling. Now that leads me into, was Pete Davidson's David, was his arc fulfilling? It was Pete Davidson. It was Pete Davidson playing a different variation of Pete Davidson. Where this movie becomes predictable is solely because Pete Davidson was cast in the role as he was. I wish Pete Davidson would have either been cast differently or would have brought something a little different to the role. Not that he did bad, he did exactly what he needed to do. It just, you could guess what was going to happen at the end of the day because of Pete Davidson himself and the roles he tends to take and the roles he has taken in the past. Now, was Lee Pace's Greg a fulfilling arc? Ish? I'm gonna go with ish for Lee Pace. Lee Pace was arguably the best part of the movie. I think Amanda Stenberg and Maria Bakalova definitely kind of tie up there with him. He was definitely underutilized. Lee Pace was criminally underutilized, but I did like the way his character arc happened. I wish there was a lot more of him because of just his acting ability and what he could have brought to the whole film. Now it gets to our 3rd question. Did I personally like this film? Well, I've got a lot of likes and a lot of dislikes about this film. Not necessarily dislikes, but I thought there were interesting choices being made throughout the film. The film is definitely politically savvy, and some people might not like how savvy it is because it doesn't necessarily play a pivotal part of anything in the film, and they are kind of making fun of the over-politicalization of people in general, but also it does kind of take away from the film at times because it turns into a comedy, and I do like those moments of levity. I believe they are necessary in this thriller, but I don't necessarily think that they should have doubled down as much as they did. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I can't give you any more information about that without spoiling it. So I'm just gonna go with I liked it, but I didn't love it. I could have liked it a little bit more as well. Now, is this film worth you going and seeing yourself? If you are a fan of horror films, if you are a fan of slasher films, and you expect that going into it, drop those expectations, then go see it, of course. It almost feels more like a Harmony Korine done thriller, if that makes sense. It kind of brings a young, youthful, colorful, fun escapade to the table. Within that, I think it is worth watching for some that enjoy those things, but not worth watching for others, and this is just going to be forgettable for a lot of people. It hurts me saying that because I am a fan of A24, and I went to go see this movie because it's an A24 film. I luckily get to see it a week before it comes out on a wide release just because I live in Los Angeles and it's already out, but I'm glad you get to watch this ticket or skip it to figure out what you'd like to do there, because it is my least favorite A24 film that I think I've seen so far. Now, this feels like not reformatted anything per se, but it's very original, but also it borrows from a lot and it loses its originality by being so predictable. So should you get a ticket? Should you skip it? Or should you get a ticket with trepidation? This movie will not be for everybody. There will be a lot of people that really thoroughly enjoy it. There's going to be a lot of people who say, who's this movie made for? Who is its audience? Every bit of acting in it was well done. All the performances were good. The writing was interesting. So with that being said, I'd say get a ticket with trepidation and go in there, form an opinion for yourself. Let us know what you think about this movie in the comments. Let us know if you're gonna go see this movie or not. So if you'd like to support our channel, please check out our link below because we have this wonderful little affiliate deal with Woogers. Woogers are a haptic feedback sound listening device, and these things are the coolest thing in the world. This thing jams along with you to your music, gives you your own personal bass within your own body, essentially uses your body as a subwoofer. I don't know if that's the correct science or anything, but that's what it feels like. And I love these things. It makes movies, music, and video games just infinitely more fun. This is the coolest thing in the world with movies. The Woogers are awesome, and Bodies was pretty damn good. It was definitely interesting. It was intriguing in a lot of ways. We'll get an MCubed grade out to you sooner than later, and if you want to support our channel, hit that like, hit the notification bell, give us a subscribe. Have a good one.